Monday night, Michelle Obama addressed the virtual Democratic convention. A lot of people said it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Others said it wasn't that great. But from my perspective, where I sit, what I heard Monday night was Michelle Obama admitting that Donald Trump is going to be reelected. Joe Biden is headed for defeat, and the Democrat establishment knows that. Let me explain. Now, here's just one example of how the media reacted to Michelle Obama's address.
I want to bring in Van Jones. Van, your thoughts on what we saw?
I mean, this extraordinary speech. I mean, she's beautiful. I mean, it was so beautiful. And, you know, she wasn't just putting the president down. She was trying to pick the country up. She was speaking like a lot of moms across this country. You know, the heartbreak was there. The hope was there. You know, when she talks about Joe knows the anguish of sitting at a table with an empty chair. I mean, that goes deep. You know, she was bringing something forward in the country that just hasn't been here for a long time. She talks about what the young people are seeing on their phones, seeing all these shootings, seeing all this disrespect, and young people beginning to give up on the country. So you know, you're seeing one of the most effective communicators in American life, putting it all on the table. And it wasn't just putting the president down.
Wow. What can I say? What a great address. I mean, Michelle Obama is it. She's the woman. She's perfect. But the obvious question then is, why isn't she on the ticket? Why didn't Joe Biden pick her for vice president? I mean, after all, the situation's perfect. Joe Biden's got a big lead. He's going to win. He's not likely to finish his first term. Michelle Obama, if she was vice president, could then become president of the United States. Michelle Obama would be president. And if Joe doesn't last 2 years, Michelle could be reelected not once, but twice. We could end up with 10 or more years as Michelle Obama as president. What more could the Democrats ask for? And it's obviously they think she's so great. She's just terrific. How could you not love Michelle Obama? She's more popular than Barack Obama. Why not put her on the ticket? Why isn't she vice president? Why isn't she the nominee? Why are we getting Kamala Harris? Why not Michelle Obama? That's the obvious question to me. If she's so good, why didn't they pick her? And please don't tell me it's because she's not interested in politics. I know she said that in her speech. But do you really believe that? Does anybody believe that Michelle Obama doesn't enjoy politics? She's not interested in politics? I mean, you'd have to be living on another planet to fall for that line. Her whole life has been politics. The same is true of her husband, Barack Obama. And he's very good at it. And so is she. I don't mean in any way to denigrate her as a politician or as a possible leader. But that gets back to my point. Why isn't she on the ticket? Why is Kamala Harris on the ticket? So then why isn't she on the ticket? I can't believe that they didn't approach her. I guess it's conceivable. It's a possibility. Some things in some ways suggest that. But I can't believe that that's true. I can't believe that somebody with the popularity, the drawing power to get African Americans to vote in large numbers for the Democrat ticket did not lead them to at least approach her. So assuming they did, then she must have said no. Why would she say no? For the same reason I think that Willie Brown told Kamala Harris not to accept the vice presidential offer. Because I think the Democrat establishment understands that they're headed for defeat. Whatever you say about Barack Obama, and there are plenty of people, myself included, who did not like his policies, I don't think any of us on the right would say that Barack Obama isn't an astute politician. He knows his politics. He knows how the game's played. I mean, this guy didn't get where he was as quickly as he did by not being astute. And I'm sure if he believes that Biden has a chance of victory, or hopefully a good chance of victory if you listen to the polls, then his wife would be on the ticket. Michelle would be on the ticket as the VP candidate. But she's not. And that's because I believe the establishment, Barack Obama included, understand that they're headed toward defeat, that Donald Trump is going to be reelected. Why waste her as Biden's candidate? After all, Obama has said, if anybody can mess it up, Biden can. Biden can F stuff up. That's what Barack Obama has said. Why put his wife on that ticket? Hold her till 2024. Trump is reelected. You maintain the pressure on the president to delegitimize him. After he steps down, who's going to replace Donald Trump on the Republican side? Who's the next Donald Trump? I don't know. I don't know who that is. I don't see anybody on the horizon. And then you run Michelle Obama in 2024 against a non-incumbent Republican candidate who doesn't have the populist pull of a Donald Trump. That's the idea. She's not that old. It's not like there's any rush on her part. So you want to save her for the future. You don't want to waste her, which is basically what they're doing with Kamala Harris, on the Joe Biden ticket. Another tell for me was her address itself. What didn't it say? There was no mention of Kamala Harris. Now I understand why that was. We know it was taped a week before the convention. But there had already been stories leaked by Politico that Harris was going to be the nominee. I mean, couldn't they have checked with Joe Biden and say, who's going to be the pick? Or did they not even care? Or maybe Michelle Obama doesn't like Kamala Harris. Maybe Barack Obama doesn't like Kamala Harris. They don't want to do anything to make her look better for 2024 if she loses. So they didn't say anything. Now, I know it's difficult to go in and re-record that entire speech again. I understand that. But all they had to do was to add another, append something to it, a minute or two, where she said, oh, and by the way, since I recorded this, he's picked Kamala Harris. Joe Biden has picked Kamala Harris as his VP running mate. And I just like to say, what a wonderful woman she is. She's a woman of color, yada, 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 yada. But they couldn't do that? I mean, did they care? I mean, this is a campaign that we're told is life and death for democracy in this country. The country's at risk because of Donald Trump. Nobody can hold back. We all have to stand up against Trump, to resist Donald Trump. This is a critical moment in American history. But Michelle Obama can't take the time to record an extra minute or two of video to append to her address at the Democratic National Convention to push the ticket, to push Kamala Harris? Am I supposed to believe that? I'm a lowly YouTube recorder with, a handful of followers. The other day, I was getting ready to pop something up on YouTube, and I found I had made a mistake. It was something I had wanted to add, and I had forgotten. So I deleted it. And I went back in, re-edited it, added the clip. It took me about 2.5 extra hours of work to do. But just for pride, I didn't want to put that up there with something missing that I said was going to be in there. So I redid it. I put the thing in and I re-edited it and then reposted it. And, it takes time to repost videos and get them uploaded and encoded and all that stuff. And just for my own personal pride, I didn't want to do that. But I'm supposed to believe that Michelle Obama, in this critical election in American history, couldn't be bothered to do another 2-minute recording, to put something up, even if it was just audio. I mean, something they could have played, acknowledging the fact that Kamala Harris was the vice presidential candidate on the ticket. I just find that hard to believe. I think it's incredible. And I don't see people talking about it. I mean, maybe Rush Limbaugh talked about it. But other than that, in the mainstream media, nobody's saying, why couldn't she have taken the time? And I think the reason's pretty simple. Or I should say the reasons are pretty simple. The Obamas probably don't like Kamala Harris. And they don't think she's going to win. So they don't really care. They'd rather spend their time up at wherever they're at, Martha's Vineyard, in their new mansion, which is in the floodplain, so it's all going to be underwater if climate change is real. But setting all that aside, why couldn't she take the time? To me, it just means that they've already written this campaign off. They don't want to waste more time on it than they have to. And certainly the Obamas don't want to waste or lose any of the political capital they already have on this campaign, which they think is going to go down to defeat. It's better to keep her away from it. Don't tie her to the ticket. Don't go back in and edit it to include something pushing Kamala Harris' candidacy. Instead, what did she do? She basically threatened us that if Donald Trump wins, if he's reelected, which I think is going to happen, matter of fact, I'm almost sure it's going to happen, what they're going to do is keep doing what they're doing. She said it. If you think things are bad now, if Donald Trump is going to be reelected, things can get worse. Things will get worse. What we're seeing in the streets today, something that they don't even talk about at the convention. She didn't mention any of that. She talks about the victims, but she never talks about the victims of the riots or the looting or the arson or any of those things. Not a word. Threats. If Donald Trump is reelected, expect more of what we've seen the last several months. That's the message. And that's the plan. Not only are they telling us that Donald Trump is going to be reelected, they're telling us how they plan to respond to that reelection with violence in the streets, with rioting disguised as peaceful protest, which they're not anymore. Most of them aren't anymore anyway. That's the reality. So despite all the discussion about what a great speech it was and how wonderful Michelle Obama is, my reading of what happened, as I said, was this was an admission that they're going down to defeat. It's an admission that Donald Trump is going to be reelected. They know it. They're not going to say that publicly. They can't. They have to protect themselves on down ballots. They don't want people to get in their minds that they can't win and they won't vote. They need people to vote for, the senators and the House Representative elections and things like that, so they don't lose. They don't want to get wiped out like they have in the past. It's bad enough that they lose the presidency. They can survive that as long as they don't lose the House and hopefully maybe even take back the Senate. It's from their point of view. So they have to keep people enthused. They can't come out and say, we know we're going to lose. But to me, looking at Michelle Obama Monday night, it was an admission that they know they are going to lose, which tells me they know, and I think the Trump administration knows, that what's going to happen in November. Donald Trump is going to be reelected. Michelle Obama knows that. That's why she's not on the ticket. That's why she couldn't even be bothered to record a couple of minutes to append to that address to acknowledge the fact that Kamala Harris is the vice presidential candidate. They couldn't be bothered. They're not going to waste their time. They don't want to lose any more capital on what's going to be looked upon as a disastrous campaign when this is all over. They don't want the Joe Biden 2020 disaster. They don't want the DNC disaster of 2020, which is how it's going to turn out, to sully their images. The Obamas, I believe, are going to try to stay away from it so that they don't get drugged down with the sinking ship. They're going to remove themselves, stay up at wherever they're at there in New England, and stay clear of a sinking ship. They don't want to go down with the Joe Biden Titanic. That's it. That's the message we got Monday night from Michelle Obama. That and the threat that we're going to see more crap in the streets after Donald Trump is reelected. Those are the tactics they're going to use. Not just 4 more years of Trump, 4 more years of Portland, 4 more years of Seattle, 4 more years of Chicago, 4 more years of whatever cities ultimately this will be spread to as they sit and remain silent about it. That's the future. That's where we're headed. And that's what Michelle Obama told me Monday night. Anyway, that was my take on what I saw Monday night. What about yours? Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. How did you read what happened Monday night? How have you read this whole convention, this virtual convention? It looks like a telethon for a PBS or a fundraiser. As a matter of fact, I flash back to, if you remember, the 1972 disaster with George McGovern when he lost, every state but one. They actually had a telethon hosted by Monty Hall to try to raise money for the Democrat Party, because they thought it might be the end for them. Now, of course, it wasn't, thanks to Richard Nixon and Watergate. But it looked really grim after that defeat. And that's why I think they're really worried about what's happening now, and they want to preserve Michelle and Barack Obama, too, for that matter, to avoid this whole mess that they're headed for. But what do you think? So leave a comment. Give it a thumbs up if you like the content. Subscribe to the channel. That really helps. Hit the notification button so you know when I post new videos. And until the next time, keep fighting.